billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Ji ayanu pakhair agale ni hao chunashumme washmale. Ohaya genzaimes guten morgen. Hola boyor privet kaifa hal? Hale shuma chatore ahlan wa sahlan marhaba. Buna mucho gracias suavia balli kiraya hoş geldin. And I was and thank you very much everybody for tuning into PTV World. You're certainly watching World this morning alongside my very well learned colleague who happens to be Miss Hajar Sati. I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan, and we hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your Wednesday with us. But first things first, hello Hajra, how are you doing today?
Assalamu alaikum, and thank you so much for introducing me. So today is the Teachers' Day. Happy Teachers' Day to you, Shahzad, and to all our viewers there. So I really wanted to share a very good memory that I have of my teacher.
Sure, go
ahead.
So
when I was in the grade 2nd, I had a teacher. She was very much invested into love and empathy, and I still remember her kindness because whenever the class would doze off because there's a very boring chapter or something like that, so she would make us stand and then she would make us play the musical chair. And after we are done, the one who is the winner would get a gift from her.
Wow.
So it was not the prize that mattered. It was the pride that she instilled into us, the power, the empowerment that she gave us to us, and the voice that we have, and expressing our pride. It was so amazing, and I still remember her. She was such a great teacher. Thank you so much for Mrs. Kokop for teaching us such a lovely value.
Exactly, and I think I'm going to kind of go down the memory lane too as well, and kind of remember one of my teacher who gave me a nickname as the Lassi Boy. And the reason was that I actually used to have lassi in my breakfast, and whenever I used to end up in my classroom, I was very sleepy. So one day, one fine day, Miss Ifat actually asked me, she was like, hey, what happened, why do you sleep so much? I was like, ma'am, I drink lassi in the day, probably in the breakfast. And she was like, hey, everybody's going to call you the Lassi Boy. From there onwards, ladies and gentlemen, whenever I see my colleagues and fellows from schools,
right.
The only term they're going to use for me is the Lassi Boy or the Lassi Man now. But as of now, today, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's about time that we kind of realize all of that effort our teachers have put in to make sure that, the way we are today. And to be very honest, I don't think that, people who actually belong to such modest backgrounds as me, their parents have a lot of time on their hand, which they can spend with their children. So obviously, they've relied on teachers quite a lot. And when we talk about teachers, ever since growing up, the only thing I knew was that they are spiritual parents, and that's how you're supposed to respect them. Times have changed, and so when we talk about the very evolution of the process of education and the education fraternity, and a lot of people have given in quite a lot. Today is the day when we're not going to talk about or listen about anything else. In fact, the purpose is to make sure that we identify all of those sacrifices our teachers make, and the way the education sector is as of now. So today, the theme, Hajra, is transformation of education begins with teachers, without a doubt, which is why, I have this very amazing quotation to share for people who are out there, and that is that, teaching kids to count is fine, but teaching them what counts is best. This is something which we want to talk about today. We're very lucky that we've been joined by some amazing guests over here inside the studios. Not that they've only revolutionized the entire education system. They've been the pioneers of doing that. They've made sure that they're going to bring in modern technology in making sure that there's going to be technological intervention when we talk about learning, information technology. And not just that, imagine bridging all of these gaps amongst all of the globe is something which was required and it was the need of the hour. And this gentleman we will be introducing in a little while is the pioneer for that. He's been a former education minister too as well. I mean, I'm lucky to have known him, and the way they've contributed towards our future generations is tremendous, and today we celebrate them over here on PTV World.
That's lovely, and I think without further ado, we need to introduce them because he's a very prestigious personality who has graced us in the PTV World studio. So he happens to be Mr. Faisal Mushtaq Saab, who happens to be CEO and the founder of the Millennium Education Group, and he also happens to be Tamga Imtiaz. Assalamu alaikum, sir, and thank you so much for coming to our show.
Wa alaikum salam, and thank you very much for the warm invitation, and happy Teachers' Day to all of you.
Happy Teachers' Day to you too as well. How does it feel to be a teacher anyways?
Oh, fantastic, so be a teacher, be a mentor, coach. I mean, it's more of a journey. It's not a destination.
True.
And each day, I spend my day starting from school and it ends at school. I mean, I'm one of the blessed ones. My children go to the school. My wife goes to the school. My staff goes to the school. I live and breathe every day, each day, teaching and learning.
Teaching and learning. Wow, it's I mean, imagine that, he's always immaculate with his words wherever he goes. He continue to inspire millions of other people, maybe in Pakistan or outside the globe. He's been actually given an honorary degree of the doctorate too as well. So congratulations on that too as well. I mean, it was long back in the time, but I thought it was important for the people to know how much you've contributed. Not just that, alongside him, we're very lucky. Obviously, it's the team which makes the dream work. So, ladies and gentlemen, coming down to the team, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by the director of the Millennium Education Group. She happens to be Miss Iram Atif. Hello, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Happy Teachers' Day.
Thank you so very much, and walaikum salam. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. And the most important day in our school year is the Teachers' Day. And it happens to be today, so it's our pleasure, and we're very happy to be here
It's
with
an
you
honor
today.
for us to actually host
Lovely.
teachers today. You know, me and Haja over here are actually looking forward to learning quite a lot even today from our teachers. You know, in appreciating, in fact, how to appreciate teachers is something which we would be discussing, you know, down the line. But not just that, I mean, towards the end, we're very lucky once again that we have been joined by a very profound teacher from the Millennium Group. Ladies and gentlemen, she happens to be Miss Uzma Hayat. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, happy Teachers' Day.
Assalamu alaikum, Shahzad. Thank you so much, Haja, for inviting us. We're privileged to be over here today. And yes, it's a very special day for us and all the teachers around the world. So thank you very much for calling us.
So let's get
Lovely.
started. Dr. Saab, you know, I'm going to get started with you. How would you want to highlight or, you know, in fact, kind of shed some light on the significance of this day, how important it is for the kids, for the parents, and for the teachers themselves?
Absolutely. Teachers in a society, in any society around the world, they are the unsung heroes.
True.
And considering Pakistan and our social and cultural dynamics, in the public sector, there are a lot of male teachers in the primary level, but in the private sector, there are a lot of female teachers in the private sector. So as we speak about equity and inclusion, I think we need to have more mainstreaming both. To have more men in the private sector to be associated with early years education, because people think, well, they cannot do it, but maybe they may show compassion and responsibility learning from their colleagues.
True.
But in principle, the common denominator are the she heroes, and I call them sheroes of Pakistan, the she version of our heroes. And these sheroes, they have inspired the modern day generation. Each day they get up in the morning offering their prayers, and they set up their children and their families, and they come and they make that effort, and there's so much that they're doing. They have joint family systems, they have spouses, they have in-laws, they have their own children, they have a very demanding principal in our school.
Exactly.
And an equally very quality assured director. So look at the challenge, and now it's not the same state. We are highly regulated. We report to the regulatory regimes. They are now national curriculum councils. Each province and district, they have their own assurance, regulatory and governance regimes. So when we talk about teachers, they are showing a lot of compliance, they're making a lot of effort, they're showing a lot of compassion. What do they get at the end of the day? Why are we celebrating the World's Teacher Day? Everyone in the country around the world should know that in 1994, the UNESCO passed a resolution to mark the World Teachers Day, because before that, as part of ILO, International Labour Organizations, teachers globally were not recognized as a normal or a mean form of world labor. So in 1994, there was this movement and a resolution in Paris which recognized the teachers as an integral part of the international labor force. Now they are there. What do we need to do here in Pakistan? First of all, we need to, demystify the narrative public versus private. Education is education.
True.
So is doctor a doctor, whether in private medical center or working in polyclinic or PIMS.
True.
A pilot is a pilot, flying PIA or flying Serene. And a coffee is a coffee, even provided by PTV or provided by Coffee Bean and Tea.
Yeah.
Similarly, so when we talk about teachers, we should not think in the narrative that they are associated with a private school and they do charge a fee.
Right.
Because of that, there is quality, there's sustainability, there's remuneration, and there is kind of social impact on their lives. What we are missing is a formal form of recognition, just the way ILO recognized teachers as a community. In Pakistan, in the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, in trade bodies and government associations, teacher association, the Farmer Ittihad is formally recognized,
Yep.
True.
but the teachers Ittihad is not recognized, number one. Number two, in the entire debate in Supreme Court, they forgot one basic principle: teacher licensing. when you have a nurse who is licensed, a pilot who is licensed, a Army, Navy, Air Force officer who comes from an academy, why cannot our teachers have a license? There's a lot of sense of entitlement. It will also undo the practices of tuitions in the evening, a culture and more respect, and so that this is my identity. Next is respect for teachers in the society and the state. We are very big on Facebook and social media, and we share the Turkish teacher pilot's video, and we do also talk about the rights of teacher in Japan, but we forget how we treat our teachers. And finally, parents need to respect this social contract. Teaching is nobility, teaching is commitment to society. They are the shadow parents, and the question is school an extension of home, or is home an extension of school?
Lovely,
I mean,
lovely.
it can
Moving
obviously
on to
go
Miss-
either
yes,
way, yeah.
Yes, moving on to Miss Iram.
Moving on to where Sir Faisal just said, what is the extension, where does it stand?
Right.
Well, teaching is definitely an extension of motherhood.
True.
Well, there's no question over
Or
there.
even fatherhood, though.
Well, that can also be included, yes.
Parenthood, I mean,
Yeah.
more-
Parenthood,
yeah.
yes. Parenthood is an extension
Right.
of teaching.
Right.
And teachers, day in and day out, 24/7, prepare, plan, and then execute towards the betterment and progress of each and every child in her class.
True.
So her job, parent is looking after what, 2 or 3 kids? And they are, exasperated at the end of the day. Look at the nerve, the energy level, the goodness of the heart of a teacher. How many children does she look after? She trains, she educates, she grooms them, she counsels them, she listens to their problems, she tells them to be mannerful, she teaches them the concept of the subject that she's teaching. She's a mentor, she's a counselor, she's a teacher, she's an educator, she's a nation builder. So all that she needs in return is recognition and respect. This is all that she needs.
And here we are recognizing
Yes,
today
and here we are
celebrating.
together here, recognizing them, appreciating them. We do it all the time. And as a Mother Day cannot be celebrated on one day, so a Teacher's Day should also not be celebrated on just one single day.
Exactly.
We have to celebrate it every day.
Exactly. I believe that, I always kind of mention it whenever we're observing such a day, that it is actually to create a ripple effect. It's just like you throw a water into a pond and the ripples start to come to you. So it's not one day, it's a practice of 365 days throughout a year, 24/7. But there's one simple question, a humble question on this Teacher's Day, and that is that my middle child now started going to school. She's only 3 years old, and she won't settle anywhere, inside the house. She will run over there, probably very playful too. Now what happens is, what kind of magic wand do you guys have that that she's so happy to go to school?
The magician is the teacher
Every
in the
single
class.
day she's just so excited to go to the
And
school.
she's so happy, and she would hate the holidays, believe me. She would hate the
She
Saturdays
asked me
and the
twice,
Sundays.
why am I not going to the school? Because she had
Yes.
fever. And I was like, okay, you want to go to school today? Yes, Daddy, I want to go to
But
school.
because she gets to listen to, she gets to do what she wants, and she has her own play age mates around her, and she takes the strength and the pleasure from the attention of the teacher and also from her peer group.
Exactly.
She's in an environment where she's very comfortable.
And
At home, you cannot give them the same kind of attention and importance all day long.
And another
A parent
question.
will be attentive for a little while. A teacher will totally be attentive throughout the day, believe me.
Okay.
Moving on to Mrs. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you,
Yeah,
Faisal.
yeah.
So we have seen, and both of our guests has made it clear, that teachers do not get enough recognition, right? And they totally deserve that, because they're giving so much attention, so much love to that. And we have also seen that teaching is not a piece of cake. Not everyone can do that, right, when it comes to that. And I think COVID has made it very much clear, because it has changed a lot of teaching contours. So do you want to share with us the stories of how you have impacted the life of the students? And I do believe that you met a student here at the PTV too, yeah?
Yeah, I did. Actually, he was one of our students, and now he's joined PTV.
Lovely.
And he's working here as an animator, I think.
Okay,
So
lovely.
yeah, how it's impacted, basically every day is a learning for us as well. It's not simple. We walk into the classrooms and we know we have to have that magic hat on.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have to kind of engage the students in different kinds of activities, through which they can do learning as well, not only just fun and play.
Right.
But that's how we have to work through it. I mean, it's not easy every day.
And how do you think your school empowers you to do so?
Well, basically what it is that how they empower us, they give us that place
Okay.
where we have our own domain, where we have the children, where we can work through with them, whether it's activity-based, whether it's project-based learning, whether it's integrated technology. So there's different things that we are
Provided
by the school as well, and then we're trained to implement these.
And I believe that this is a question which I really need to ask Dr. Faisal Mushtaq over here, because when we talk about teachers, you know, obviously the narrative is that, you know, that the parents need to respect them, the kids need to respect them, but I believe in the first place, it's the schools who need to respect them.
Absolutely.
So how do you do that?
Absolutely. The employer needs to create an enabling ecosystem which is based on trust, which is based on mutual and inclusivity, which is based on professional development, and which is also based on reflection. Because you see, we are the ones that we need to give our staff, our colleagues feedback. On the World's Teacher Day, the big question is, do we have teachers by default or do we have teachers by design?
You tell us.
That's what Pakistan wants to know. The question is, do we have teachers by chance, tukke se, or do we have teachers by choice? So here is the big news, Pakistan.
Go ahead.
Recently, a survey has been conducted in on mainstream universities. All the young boys graduating from TMUC, possibly LUMS, IBAs, NUST, you know what they want to do? A lot of young children, they say, well, we don't want to work in, let's say, telcos, because it's nothing beyond data or SIMs. We won't want to work from tobacco companies. Maybe there's nothing beyond selling tobacco. Or maybe we don't want to work for financial services because for certain Islamic limitations on interest. So what do they want to do? They want to teach. There's a lot of compassion. The social contract is evolving where young graduates and students, those who have coming from study abroad programs, they all want to join Pakistani classrooms. Now, I'm not talking about urban elite classrooms. I'm talking about Teach for Pakistan program. You can ask that lady. I'm talking about community initiatives. I'm talking about transgender initiatives. I'm talking about less privileged, marginalized, peri-income or low-income communities. So let me demystify that private schooling in Pakistan is not an urban elite phenomena. It is a rural urban phenomena. There is a private school for rupees 100 in Chua Sedan Shah or Kila Saifullah, and there is a private school for rupees 50,000 in Karachi, Clifton, Lahore, Gulbarg, or Islamabad, Balligada. So there is choice. So what the state had to do, state had to create basic minimum standards. So they do have this National Curriculum Council. Well, I'm a member of the National Curriculum Council, but I do say, what good is enforced uniformity in absence of informed unity? Now the question of teachers is, teachers now, all institutes need to ensure there's in-service, pre-service, professional development. The rights of the teachers need to be protected. Respect they need, recognition they need, rewards they need as well. It's not that they just come here for without any compensation. Schools provide staff child benefits, they provide provident fund, they provide medical health and many. What parents need to understand is that unlike Western societies where the issue is, main issue is that when people talk about consistency, unlike West where people marry or possibly they may not marry, like in Germany they have a negative population, so they would consider living with someone after 40. Here our Pakistani Aisha, she is married at a younger age, she has children, she has a spouse, she has in-laws, she has to deal with medical and she has to deal with transfers and posting. So that is where the challenge of the teacher comes in. So we have to build enabling capacity and system. There is enough succession, there's transfers and posting, and there's commitment. Also, classrooms have become far more diverse. When you talk about the society has become polarized, so what about the young children? Every child. So how did we deal with it? In the past, we used to have very traditional clubs. One were called Jinnah, other ones were called Iqbal. And I thought, okay, these people, maybe they're not able to relate to it. Let's do something different. We created 4 different clubs. One is called Hope, one is called Peace, one is called Courage, one is called Unity.
True.
So now when you go to the class, and you know, the other day I asked the young kids and I said, is there anyone who's a bully in the class? So the girl said, oh, well, this guy. So I said, well, why can't you do this? They said, but he is courage. I am peace. I said, you need to change the club. If he is courage, you are peace, then you should change your club and you should become courage as well. So, you know, this is how little things with manifestation. Lot of diversity. Teaching is an art.
Yeah.
Final word. Parents think, oh, our little daughter, like just like Miss Sati, she's bright and talented and she's a gold medalist from a university. So while she is work in progress, Beta Jani, why don't you go and teach? I challenge the country, the social scientists, the nuclear scientists, the big bankers and the people sitting in government. Teach early years and primary children for 1 week, and I think the state will give you a civil award.
That's
It
true.
is that challenging.
And you've been awarded by that award too as well.
It is
And
that challenging.
Which
People
is-
think teaching early years Montessori children is the
Yes.
easiest thing.
No,
For
it's
O
not.
levels and A levels, it's knowledge. But at a younger level, it's skills, value, and it is the teaching pedagogy. It is the teaching construct. It is the teacher's planner. And
Yep.
final word,
Yep.
teaching is not in fashion. Learning is in fashion. Teaching stops when you enter the classroom. This is for all the Pakistani teachers. Teaching stops when you enter the classroom. Learning begins
yeah.
when you enter the classroom.
Thank you
That's-
very much for
that's
saying
lovely
that. But
for-
there's one more thing which I wanted to ask away. First of all, obviously, I'm going to second you on what you said because very recently we actually had people, you know, who were as young as me and Miss Sati over here, and they were teaching, and they, you know, while they were sharing their experiences, their eyes just lit up, and they were like, we're just happy people now. But there's one more question, ma'am, since you happen to be the director of the group, and that is that, you know, if you go back in the 18th century, you know, we have seen those big cars with, you know, 4 horsepower, 5 horsepower, 10 horsepower engines. We have seen transformation of technology where earlier we used to send letters. Now, alhamdulillah, emails, WhatsApps, everything is available. We come down to the cars. Obviously, the cars are going electric, no engines at all. Why do you think that the classrooms is still the same?
It's just because of the impact of the teacher.
Okay.
It's the emotional value that the teachers carry into the classrooms. Otherwise, during COVID, the technology should have taken over.
It did, learning management
No,
systems?
it did not.
Yes,
The
it
teachers
did.
were still teaching online.
Obviously,
They
yeah,
were
but there
definitely
was
available
technology, right?
online.
Yeah.
They were ensuring that the children remained in contact. They were there to guide the children and train them and educate them, of course. And classes are there and will remain so for as long as I can think, because of the human touch,
True.
because of the social
warmth of the
contact.
teacher.
Yes, the warmth of the teacher. And it's not just the concept that you come to the class to learn. It's also the environment that is created. It's the social contract that is developed in the classroom.
True.
It's most impactful, much more than the concept that you teach in the class.
Exactly.
That is learned at the end of the day anyway. But what you're learning is how to deal with your peer group, how to be confident, how to speak out your mind. That's what cannot, something that has to be taught by a human in the class.
Exactly.
A person who's making an impact on you. You are creating a connection with that person.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's
Hence,
really
teachers
very
are role
important.
models. Yes.
And that's important.
That's
Right.
very important.
Right. You wanted to add something?
Social and emotional connect. This
Yeah.
is behavioral psychology. Now you need to understand, because COVID had learning losses which were the biggest after the Second World War. 1.6 billion, 1 arab 60 crore bacha dunya mein was disenfranchised by the concept of teaching and learning. Harvard has been writing on HBR that in 21st century technology shall replace the teacher. This is not I am saying. I'm a member of World Economic Forum initiatives, global committees, blah, blah. The teacher's technology shall not replace the teacher, but the teacher who will not use technology
Yes,
shall be
exactly.
replaced by those who do use technology. Why the classrooms have not evolved? Sorry, classrooms have evolved.
Okay.
We used to have a blackboard, then we went transformed into a whiteboard. Now we've gone into the digital
Projectors,
board.
yeah.
And then the furniture, then the teaching style. Previously it was, beta, please look at the teacher. Now there's collaboration, there's circle time, there is news period, there's connectivity, there's engagement, there's inquiry, there's curiosity, there's question, there's collaboration, there's theory of knowledge, there is cache, there is extended essay. We in our education system putting enormous focus on community service, on social action, on volunteerism, because that's what university wants them to do. And just like our religion, Islam, like you have Hukukul Ibad, Hukukullah, Hukukul Insan, namaz being offered in the masjid, it has its own benefits, you know. And when students, they also go in a community, they learn from difference and they learn from diversity. So research says that people, humanity, need social and emotional connection.
Yes.
Otherwise, you would be called aliens.
Thank you for coming to the rescue, though.
Okay, moving on to Ma'am Uzma. So we have seen that in class there are different types of students. Some are very good students, ambitious ones who want to learn.
Thank you.
Some are lovely, I know you are. And some are, you know, who are very difficult to deal with because they have some issues or I don't know. So, but in general, you know, teacher loves all the students irrespective of their class or irrespective of their backgrounds, etc. But then also teacher needs a lot of emotional support when it comes to that because she's dealing with so much when it's going on into the class. Do you feel that there is enough emotional support or teachers are appreciated enough in your system, in your ecosystem when it comes to that?
I think the system that I'm in at the moment, yes, we are appreciated every day actually. We have our coordinators there as well to support us. Then we have our principals there as well to support us. Then we have our head office that is there for the facilitation every time any kind of facilitation is required, whether it's emotionally, whether we're down for some reason as well. And then secondly, like you said, that there are kids that are in the class with different kinds of needs. We are taught, we are trained, our capacity is built accordingly to cater the needs of all these students. To be honest, I mean, if it's a slow learner, we know how to cater their needs. If it's a hyper kind of a child, we know how to cater their needs as well. So it's that training, the capacity building that an institution that we work for, like Roots Millennium. I mean, I've worked for this institution only because when I moved from UK, this was the only place I came for my children's admission, and that's how I met Sir Faisal, and that's where my journey started. So it's been over a decade. So it's been over a decade. Now I've been working, I mean, and I'm very happy being a teacher, a mother, a parent. So yes, I mean, I feel that every day is a learning for me. I'm meeting new students. I mean, when I started, like I said, a decade before, now those students, when I meet them outside, they've completed their A-levels and they're in their some are graduating, some have graduated.
You just met one of your students over here. You know, so
and I met one of my students in, he's just started a restaurant as well.
Wow.
And I went there, was eating food, and all of a sudden he came in front of me and he was like, "Oh, Ma'am Uzma." And I was like, "Wow, you've grown." And he goes, "This is my restaurant." And the happiness that you feel at that moment, that you've created some kind of a difference in that child's life, that is the most happiest moment in your life.
Exactly.
So yes, I mean, we're very happy.
Which is why, in addition to that, there's one more thing which I wanted to ask, and that is that Sir Faisal just mentioned that, you know, for teachers who are not using technology will be replaced by teachers who are using technology. So what's your take on that as a teacher?
The thing is that the kids are very tech savvy. So we need to understand that a child that is born into the era of technology.
True.
So we need to stay ahead of them or side by side.
Yeah.
So at least we can be there whenever they need us, whenever any kind of support. So it's very important for us to build our capacity accordingly as well. And technology, of course, is the future now. So we have to be, we have to obtain that.
Exactly. Thank you very much for saying that. But sir, very quickly, you know, towards the end of this segment, how would you want to wrap it up? You know, so that's your camera. Talk to the nation. We go out in 46 different countries. Say whatever you feel like.
Look, Pakistan, as we talk about respect, respect should be inclusive. I would not just demand respect for the teacher. I'll demand respect for every citizen of the country. I would request everyone to have inclusivity in respect. Respect our Shohada, respect our teachers, respect our doctors, respect our constitutional protectors, respect our society. And if we will not be respected, we will not be celebrated. And secondly, I want to say that this day is dedicated to all those hard-working public sector teachers in Balochistan, in Sindh, in Kashmir, in rural Punjab, in Azad Kashmir, in interior Sindh. There are a lot of champions of change. I am well traveled from Gilgit to Gwadar, and I know my local heroes. As we want to proceed further amongst the Global Committee of Nations to support our commitment to sustainable development goals, we must invest in our public education system improvement and building capacity of the government sector and the public sector teachers. They are all outstanding. And remember, a teacher is a teacher. May that be in a charity school, in a community school, in a missionary school, in a public school, in a private school, or in an army, navy, or air force school.
Thank you very much. Wow, that was a wonderful message. Thank you very much, Dr. Saab, for being with us. Thank you very much, Mr. Ram. Thank you very much, Mrs. Usma, for being with us. And for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, the only thing I would want to say over here is that I'm going to call upon all of those countries out there. Please make sure that you recognize and trust your teachers, because they hold the future of our generations. Please make sure that you invest in them. And teachers, yes, please make sure that you invest on yourself too as well, because it's about time that we kind of go through that. We are heading out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere, because when you guys will come back, we'll take you to the public sector as well. Good morning. It's World Teachers Day, and we are observing and celebrating it amongst our teachers who have been looking after the country and the future generations. Let's go for a break. Good morning.
हालिया बारिशों ने मुल्क में 30 साला रिकॉर्ड तोड़ दिया है और अब तक लाखों अफराद सैलाब से मुतासिर हो चुके हैं। ये मासूम बच्चे, ये बेबस बहनें, ये भाई और ये बुजुर्ग आपकी फराख दिलाना इमदाद के मुंतजिर हैं। वजीर आजम पाकिस्तान मोहम्मद शहबाज शरीफ के सैलाब जदगान के लिए माली इमदाद की अपील। आप भी स्पेशल अकाउंट G12164 में दिल खोलकर इमदाद दें और अपने हमवतनों के जख्मों पर मरहम रखें। बैरून मुल्क मुकीम पाकिस्तानी वायर ट्रांसफर, मनी सर्विस ब्यूरो, मनी ट्रांसफर ऑपरेटर्स और एक्सचेंज हाउसेस के जरिए अतियात भिजवा सकते हैं। अंदरून मुल्क कमर्शियल बैंकों में भी नकद अतियात जमा करवाए जा सकते हैं।
Okay, welcome back. So today we are celebrating the World Teachers Day, because I don't feel that one day is enough to even squeeze our love and respect that we have for the teachers out there. And there's so many teachers who have created such a remarkable impact on us, and we really want to eulogize them, celebrate them, and that is why we're also going to talk about the Teachers Day. But before we do that, we have a very interesting package that our team made us, so let's have a look. They say better than 1,000 days of diligent study is a one day with a great teacher, since they can change their lives with the right mix of chalk and challenges. And what better day to celebrate teaching as the greatest act of optimism. A teacher is not someone solely confined to the four walls of classroom. Actually, it's quite the contrary. A teacher is a sum total of wisdom, experiences, kindness, discipline, and compassion. An intellectual and spiritual guide, a teacher mentors their student with the purest intention of seeing them spread their wings and to take to the skies. Teaching is one of the most respectful and valuable professions in the world. In religion Islam, this profession has more importance, as our beloved Prophet introduced himself as a teacher. 5th October's Teachers' Day is declared by UNESCO, decided in 1994, and they're celebrating the great step taken for the teachers on October 5th, 1996. This year marks 28th anniversary of World Teacher Day, and the theme is Transformation of Education Begins with the Teachers. The concept behind Mark This Day is to raise awareness to the importance and respect of teaching profession at the international level. This day was launched with the motive of promoting help towards teachers and creating awareness about the importance of teachers to meet the needs of future generations. The day is celebrated today in about 100 nations across the globe. Teachers' Day observed in Pakistan pay tribute to the teachers and to consider the challenges related to the teaching profession. A number of ceremonies are organized at the government level, schools and colleges, and at universities. Seminars and conferences are among the major programs organized to mark the day. Okay, that's lovely, and I do have a lot of stories to tell about the teachers, but I think we are short on time, so without any further ado, I would like to introduce my guest, because now we are going to talk about the public sector teaching and how it has impacted the student life, and that's because a lot of students, especially the population which is living in the rural and urban areas, they are into actually the public education. So to talk more about it and how they are impacting the lives of the kids or their students, we are very lucky that we have been joined by Ms. Sumaira Aslam, who happens to be manager Regional Plan, Punjab Information Technology Board, and both the Punjab government. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you so much for coming to our show.
Walaikum assalam, and thank you for having me here.
No, thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you over here, and we obviously wanted a representative from public institutes too as well. So how do you think the Region 9 is contributing towards our future generations?
Basically, first of all, I would like to introduce Regional Plan 9.
Yep.
Regional Plan 9 basically is a technology incubator financed by the Ministry of IT of Punjab, and we are being housed in public sector universities across all over Punjab. And we picked the headquarters of the Punjab, different areas which are being neglected by
Yep.
other institutions. So we focused on the neglected areas so that the students from the neglected area can participate well, and they can be the part of the same metro city students, and they can contribute to the economy as well.
So, you know, so that they get to be the part of the same ecosystem everybody else is, and there's no disparity amongst them. And I believe that's great, and this is something which is required too.
Right.
How many projects so far have been funded by Regional Plan 9?
We have financed all over the Punjab 9 incubation centers,
Okay.
and they are running their third cohort. Basically, we have 10 startups in each cohort. We will provide them, we are providing them with the mentorship that is necessity for the entrepreneurial journey of any startup, because hand holding is needed to change the mindset of a student towards the entrepreneurship.
Alright.
Because they don't know the meaning of entrepreneurship, how to lead their ideas to earn money from their ideas.
Exactly.
So we are focusing on the final year students with their projects so that they can execute their projects into a financially feasible business model.
Yeah.
Right, and how scalable is those projects? Because projects do get started, but again, then the feasibility is not that much to sustain on. So what
That's
do you
where
have
they
to
put their research in.
Basically, I want to add on this that we have completed 2 cycles
Okay, lovely.
in which we have registered almost 600 plus companies
Right.
with the SECP, and
Right.
they are earning, mashallah. And in arid agriculture, where we are leading this incubation center, our first cohort is being run.
Right.
So there 10 companies are being registered so far, and they are earning 4 million plus revenue till now.
And is it
And
in
we are-
dollars or is it in Pakistan
It's
rupees?
in Spark rupees, because
Okay.
they are from the idea stage.
Okay.
They have just launched their ideas, so it would take time to be a money making company.
So what kind of facility is being provided by Regional Plan 9? You know, when we, for example, I pitched an idea, I'm a last year student at a university in my graduation, you know, so what is the criteria first of all, and then how do you think that it will end up in a mushroom growth where now, inshallah, we will see that Pakistan will be exporting some information technology or something other than that?
Okay, as for the criteria for the selection is concerned, I would love to share that we only take national identity card as the only legal document that is required to
That's
apply.
it?
That's it. That's the only
Better give an
document.
ID card.
Yes, that's the only requirement from us,
Okay.
and no upper age limit. So anyone,
So anyone can come?
yes,
Wow.
anyone can come at any age. They can join.
Whether they are in university or not.
Yes,
And
Wow.
even after retirement, people can come
Lovely.
and execute their ideas.
Okay, that's an example of the inclusivity. So would you like to share some success stories with us about the work that you are doing there?
Yes, Nearpair is basically the famous startup from the Plan 9 platform that is related to tech technology.
Okay.
They are providing different courses and they are earning huge amounts of money, and I think so you already know about the Nearpair because
Really?
Yes.
Okay, lovely.
Please
So
go on,
go on.
continue.
And that's the success story, and everyone in the Lahore and the central Punjab knows about them, how they are earning and how they are doing their journey with the Nearpair. And there are lots of other startups.
Okay.
They are coming towards the edtech technology. Foster Learning is also a startup from the platform of Regional Plan 9, as well as UniFoster is also a platform, is also an edtech startup from the Sargodha region. You can imagine that the Sargodha region is quite neglected and far behind the metro city regions, so they are contributed as well.
Okay, so Shahzad, that's really lovely that I feel that so many edtechs are coming up, and especially the field of education is mostly dominated by the women because they're more into the care work, and they're also the care providers in the homes too. And I feel so glad that there is not gender disparity when it comes to the education when it goes to there, right?
And Haja, in connection to that, what I bear in my heart and my mind is that when we talk about teachers on World Teachers Day, that it is very important for all of us to understand that teachers are not the only people who actually work in a school. Teacher, for example, for us, it can be Mr. Jamshed Sultan.
True,
and we can be teachers for probably Hasnain Hamid or Asi Altaf. These are our team members. You get to learn every single day. I mean, my teacher can be Raja Sahab over here inside the studios. You can learn anything better which is going to help you do good in life is something you would refer to as a teacher, so even our parents, they would make us sit down, kind of talk about everything in life, whether what you need to do, what you don't need to do. Imagine, so there was this quotation which in fact wasn't a quotation, it was in a book where this amazing lady, she speaks about life, and she says that now we are more focused on books, but we are not going to teach our kids. God forbid if divorce comes to your doorstep, what are you going to do? God forbid if you lose a child, what are you going to do? I mean, these are those lessons of life which I believe are the real essence of life every single day, and this is what Dr. Faisal Mushtaq even said, that it is a journey. So you can learn anything, probably even from a youngster. It's not really important that you're going to learn something from an elder person. So anybody who teaches you something is going to be a teacher of yours, and this is a call by Hazrat Ali alayhi salam as well. So we really need to kind of keep it that way. Please make sure that we are open for learning. But ma'am, now coming back to you, on the question of what facilitation is being provided by Regional Plan 9 to all of those people who actually reach out, bring their identity card and be like, Miss Samara, ye ID card hai. So do you think that the idea needs to be genuine, and then does the Regional Plan 9 kind of do their own research whether it is an effective idea, or do you think that they're going to reap benefits from it?
For this, we have thorough selection process.
Okay.
We scrutinize the ideas and check their market feasibilities. And then we have launchpad event in which we have a panelist from the industry as well, from the Chamber of Commerce, from academia as well. They finalize the selection of ideas to be incubated in the incubation center. After being shortlisted and selected for the incubation process, we provide them different facilities. First of all, we provide them an event to complete their team. That is a networking event, so that they can complete their team. After completion of the team, we provide them legal assistance, so that they can work on their legal documentation to register their companies with the SECP and other institutions as well. After all, we provide them the platform, and we provide them a certain mentor for the specific idea. For example, if a startup needs a specific guidance related to digital marketing and platform to market their idea, so provide them a certain teacher which will hand holding him and take them to the journey and complete their idea.
And this is exactly important, but thank you very much, ma'am, for being with us. It was lovely to be in conversation with you. Thank you very much for sharing such an important news. And since you mentioned that there is no upper age limit, is there any lower age limit as well?
18 years, you have to.
I mean, we really need to reconsider that, because these days kids are geniuses. They're making millions
we
of
have
dollars.
Certain events for them as well, for the summer vacations as well. We plan different events for them time to time.
These days do not want summer vacations. They're already earning millions of dollars, and they're making sure that they're going to rule the world in days to come.
Definitely.
Which is why Allama Iqbal, said it back then too as well. I think it goes something like, Piro ko
I don't know, but I think good
Jawano ko
teachers.
ustad kar, something of that sort.
Right.
I might have been mistaken with the very the way the verse goes, but it is something. Peeron ko jawano ko ustad kar, or jawano ko peeron ko ustad kar.
Yes,
That's the
yes,
one.
that's the
Okay,
one.
Yes.
lovely. And I think the good teacher is one that doesn't teach what to think, but how to think about, right? And it is very much important that we instill the critical thinking in today's era, because as Shahzad mentioned, it is an era of extreme digitalization and the technology, and kids are so much into it, and we want our kids to be a bright budding stars for the Pakistan and for the world, and to make it a better place for us to come. So with that, we will say goodbye and happy Teachers Day to you and to everyone out there. So good morning.
Happy Teachers Day.